This is CS Enterprises, where this series of Breaking the News is not sponsored by...
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I'm Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. I'm joined by four brilliant comics. On my right, we have Ria Lina and Mark Nelson, and facing them are Elaine Malcolmson and Stuart McPherson. While we've been off air, Pope Francis sadly died at the age of 88. American Cardinal Robert Prevost was elected his successor following a narrow win in the conclave over Ralph Fiennes. In April, there was Europe's biggest blackout in 20 years, with Spain, Portugal and parts of France having no power, heating or lighting for several days. Residents described it as like living in Dornoch. And islanders in the Outer Hebrides reported that their lives are being disrupted by a mysterious low-frequency humming sound that can be heard day and night. In other news, record profits were reported at the new Stornoway branch of Ann Summers. Right, you've met the teams. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Ria and Mark, can you tell me what this is all about?
Donald Trump has left
The Scotland 2050 conference
a day earlier than planned. Before leaving, President Trump
set out his vision of an independent Scotland.
He'd earlier warned people to evacuate
Edinburgh
without giving further details.
It's been a busy old week, hasn't it? Mark Nelson, any ideas what you think our first story is?
Yes, so there was a meeting of the G7 this week, and Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world, left a day early.
And that is exactly the right answer. Yes, Donald Trump left the G7 summit early over tensions in the Middle East. The US president says his departure had nothing to do with an Israel-Iran ceasefire, refuting comments by French President Emmanuel Macron. While at the summit, a deal removing some trade barriers between the UK and the US was signed off. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer called the move a very important day for both countries. After the president departed, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said, hard as it may be, the G7's work must go on without Donald Trump. And when the laughter finally stopped, they all just carried on. Oh, well done, Mark, for getting the right answer. So, thoughts then, what did you make of Trump's short appearance at the G7 summit in Canada?
I imagine G7 to Trump is what he would answer if you asked him the question, what's 4 plus 4? Seven. I'm not a numbers guy, Des. I'm not a numbers guy. 36, that's my favorite number, 36. Double D, that's my favorite.
Ria, what did you make of Trump's short appearance at the G7 summit?
Well, honestly, so we left a day early. Big deal. Biden checked out of his presidency months early. You know what I mean? Like, big. I mean, it's amazing how much that man hates immigrants, given that without immigrants, he would have no wives. But...
Stuart, were you across this? What did you make of Trump's short appearance at the G7 summit in Canada?
Yeah, he's a fan, ain't he? But I don't know. I liked him dropping his papers because it was just so embarrassing. Like, he gives it the big one and then he doesn't even realise that these papers are loose. And it was like that scene in like an American like rom-com movie where like the jock drops his papers and then the nerdy girl like helps him pick them up, and you know, Keir Starmer takes his glasses off. He wasn't a nerd all along. It was beautiful.
The lovely moment, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was the best bit.
Well, there we go. Elaine, I'll bring you in right now. What are your thoughts then? What did you make of Trump's short appearance at the G7 summit in Canada?
Look, I'm sure we've all thrown stuff on the floor and stormed out the party, gone home and told the Iranians to evacuate Tehran. All been there, can relate. I think maybe the poor wee soul got traveller's tummy. He did say he was working on something bigger than a ceasefire.
Well, there we have it. So Donald Trump leaves early, however, not before this deal was secured, this trade agreement between the UK and the US. What say you, Stuart? Has the UK come away with a good trade deal here?
Well, I thought we had kind of good trading links with the US. You know, we gave them James Corden, they gave us Stanley Tucci. That's a pretty good swap. Pretty good swap with them. But the steel, obviously, the steel was the main one that he was talking about. And obviously, that's very close to his heart, because I don't know if you know this, but Keir Starmer's dad was actually a toolmaker. I'm sure he was keen to get that one out.
You think he'd mention that a bit more often?
Yeah.
Keir Starmer said it was a very important day, but he seems like the sort of person that would consider it a very important day when his grass needed cut the same day as his brown bin collection.
Of course, we're talking about the G7 and about Donald Trump, who left early, not before the UK and the US did the deal with each other. Yes, after fumbling some important documents, the president left the summit a day early. By a strange coincidence, bad with his hands and finishes too soon is exactly how Trump was described in court by Stormy Daniels. Well done, Rhea and Mark. You get 2 points for that. It was, of course, the fallout from the G7 this week. Right, over to you, Elaine and Stuart. What was the other story we were after?
There was a big conference in Edinburgh to talk about Scotland's future.
Is the right answer. Well done, Elaine. Yes, the First Minister, John Swinney, has made a fresh case for independence this week, insisting Scotland has the capacity to stand and flourish on our own feet. He spoke at the Scotland 2050 conference in Edinburgh, where he argued that Scotland was being treated as an afterthought by Westminster. At the conference, John Swinney outlined his vision for 25 years' time to be in a nice nursing home overlooking the sea. What do you think, Elaine? Is the First Minister right? Is independence within reach?
How long are John Swinney's arms? Which is something you shouldn't Google.
What do you think, Stuart? Is the First Minister right? Is independence within reach?
I don't know. But I mean, it's 11 years since the last one, and a lot has changed. And I was quite young, really, during the first one, and I was very naive and optimistic and hopeful. And so I was quite pro-independence the first time around. But now, 11 years have passed. I just think, like, this country, the UK, is just going from strength to strength. Don't you think? Like, it's just like the last 11 years has just it's been so good. So it's like, I don't think it's the time.
It isn't for me to have an opinion on whether independence is within your reach. I do think you're closer to it than Wales. And I want it for you. I want whatever you want, okay? I want that for you. And if you do achieve it, could you perhaps also take Northern Ireland?
Elaine, what do you think?
So, back in 1960...
Mark, what are you thinking then? So John Swinney is saying that independence is within reach. Is the First Minister right?
Well, I think the SNP are playing this all wrong, because the way they've tried to get independence so far hasn't worked, right? I have a new plan, right? Is that with our climate crisis, and we all know how hot it has been, England floods every winter. Mm-hmm. So patience is the key. And I think that, imagine a party political broadcast where Swinney was just out burning wheelie bins. Chop down a tree for the SNP.
Mark Nelson is playing the long game, ladies and gentlemen. So there we have it. Obviously, it was not just John Swinney that was speaking at this conference. Many others were there. Stuart, did any of the other speakers grab your attention?
I was having a look through the listings. There was a lot of different speakers and sort of different venues and stuff. I was surprised to see Bernard Ponsonby DJ set in the Slam tent. I'd like to have caught that.
I would pay money to see that, mate. That'd be excellent. Elaine, have you seen the list of speakers? And if so, did any of the other speakers grab your attention?
Willie Rennie was there. Miss him.
Yeah.
He should have been headlining. Cherie Blair, poor woman, probably desperate to get out of the house. I mean, he must be unbearable at the minute. Oh, ignoring intelligence and starting illegal wars is my thing, Cherie. What have I got?
And obviously, a huge part of this was Scotland 2050. What do you think Scotland will be like in 2050?
I think we'll have flying cars by 2050. I'm just worried that Scottish councils will find a way to also have flying potholes.
And at the end of that round, well done. It's 2 points apiece. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show. Legendary weather presenter Judith Ralston and actor and broadcaster Grant Stott. So, Elaine and Stuart, what is Judith on about here?
I can't say I'm a big fan of these two. They're a bit like a pair of sullen teenagers. It doesn't do Edinburgh's reputation any good. It makes it sound that bit posher. I think there'll be a few red faces. This story shouldn't have got out, and it has. It did make me laugh, though.
This is someone at Edinburgh City Council's comments about the typical Oasis fan that might descend on Edinburgh in August has been leaked, and Liam Gallagher doesn't like it.
You're right on all counts. Well done, Stuart. Yes, Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher has hit out at the City of Edinburgh Council after the band's fans were described as rowdy, intoxicated and middle-aged men who take up more room in a safety briefing. I'm getting daggers from Mark Nelson right now. Gallagher responded in social media saying to the Edinburgh Council, I've heard what you said about Oasis fans and quite frankly, your attitude stinks. I'd leave town that day if I was any of you lot. And of course, Edinburgh City Council is actually quite similar to Oasis in that neither has done anything for 15 years. Elaine, what do you think then? What are your thoughts on this spat?
I just hope that real fans like Mark, who are just enjoying the nostalgia, I just hope they're not too hurt by it, because in the report it does get quite personal in places like there's this bit that says some of these fans are grown men with children, and yet they are going to see this band 3 times and spending money on ridiculous items like reissued 90s jackets because Noel Gallagher wore them once. They should really just grow up. Mark.
I am going to...
Didn't realise you'd invited my wife along today.
Ria, I'll come to you on this. I don't know if you've managed to catch this, but there we have it, the big spat between Edinburgh City Council and Liam Gallagher. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to be honest, it's really hard to think because I'm sitting next to Mark and he takes up so much room.
Super fan of Oasis, Mark Nelson. I have to ask your thoughts on this. What are your views on this spat?
Very offended, Des, because the fans have been described as rowdy, fat and drunk. And I have never been rowdy.
That's a slur on your character, isn't it?
They kept going that the travel will be the biggest obstacle to Oasis fans. No, the biggest obstacle to Oasis fans will be gout. That would be...
Do you not think it's funny that he's like, yeah, they're calling us fat, and like, they're not calling you fat. They're saying you take up space because you're not considerate of other people. No one's calling you fat. Do you know what I mean? It's not like your mum's so fat she's going to see Oasis. It makes no sense.
It was insulting and unnecessary, the language used in it, but I would be more offended when you read a bit further through their plans for actually controlling the crowds. Like, it says directions from public transport hubs to Murrayfield to be routed via Arthur's Seat in the hope that some of their knees give up.
And as we've mentioned, Edinburgh City Council warned that Oasis fans are mainly rowdy, drunken, middle-aged men. Well, they won't be used to a crowd like that at Murrayfield then, will they? Yes, Liam Gallagher versus Edinburgh Council is the right answer. Elaine and Stuart, you get 2 points for that. Ria and Mark, it's your turn now. What do you think Grant is talking about here?
Look, we all do it. I mean, who hasn't had a wee peep in your neighbour's bin at midnight if you've got 1 or 2 excess black bags that need taken away in the morning? This is just exactly the same kind of thing, but on a slightly more national level.
I understand that you're about to ban black bin bags in your landfill. So as a result, because you have too many of them and not enough incinerators, you're going to start sending them to England?
That's pretty much the story, yes. Well done. A report suggests that up to 100 lorries a day will be needed to transport Scotland's waste to sites in England when a landfill ban comes in at the end of this year. The Scottish Government insists it's just a short-term problem and that more incinerators will be built in the years following the ban. Of course, it is not the first time that Scotland's rubbish has been exported to England. I mean, Michael Gove's been down there for years. Ria, well done in getting the right answer there. So are you surprised that our rubbish will have to be sent to England?
We love some of your export. Ewan McGregor, David Tennant, James McAvoy, Karen Gillan, Alan Cumming, Lorraine Kelly. Come on. You export a lot of... You don't like Lorraine Kelly? We'll keep her. It's fine. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we'll keep her. We'll keep her, all right?
Mark, what do you think then? Are you surprised that our rubbish will be sent to England?
I've been thinking about this for a while, right? You know the food bins we all have, right? And you eat the food and you put it in the bin and it goes on to fertilise grass days. Well, I've cut out the middleman now. What I do is now I eat all of my food. And then I do a poo in my neighbour's garden, right?
But I thought as an Oasis fan, you already did that.
But now I am doing it for a reason.
He's a principled man. Stuart, are you surprised that our rubbish will have to be sent to England?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, I was reading up about it, and like part of the wider point of this is that we're not really hitting our recycling targets, which is quite bad. And I try my best because I've got like the worst carbon footprint ever. Like I use paper straws and stuff now, but when I think back to being a child, the plastic crap I had as a kid, it keeps me up at night thinking about it. Like some of the stuff, I had an inflatable Guinness armchair when I was like 8 years old. The most stressful thing in my life was blowing it up. Obviously, the worst part of a Guinness armchair is that you need to inflate it 2/3 of the way and then let it rest. Forget it.
Elaine, go on then. If you could export anything to England, what would it be and why?
I'd still send all the rubbish, but instead of trucks, I'd really annoy them by sending it in small boats.
Brilliant. Scotland, of course, already sends thousands of tons of rubbish to England each year via Edinburgh gift shops. Yes, the effects of the upcoming landfill ban is the right answer. 2 points go to Ria and Mark. This is Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Ria and Mark, you're first this time. Here's a clip of Sir Alex Younger talking about your mystery person.
She is an incredibly experienced, credible, successful operational officer, a case officer. She is widely respected. It's not just that she specialised in tech towards the end of her career and was Q.
I think he's talking about a woman called Blaze, who has become the first woman to head MI6.
That's the right answer. Well done, Ria. Yes, that's Blaise Mitrelli, the new head of MI6. It's hard to get a clip of a lifelong spy, so that's why we had someone else talking about her. It's the first time in its 116-year history that the Foreign Intelligence Service will be led by a woman. She will take over from Sir Richard Moore, known as C in the autumn. Big moment this week for Blaise Mitrelli and MI6. Do you think this is a good appointment?
Well, she's DV cleared, ex-DG Ops at SIS, aligned with FCDO, well regarded by JIC and NSC. She's trusted across OSCT, liaises with GCHQ on SIGINT, and coordinates with RICU. She's got a solid track record under JIO. So yeah, Chief C is GTG.
Is the right answer. What do you think then? Blaise Mitrelli, the new head of MI6. Elaine, is this a good appointment?
All women know, right, that no matter how much experience you have, there will always be a man with zero experience that will give you advice, right? And she's been director of MI5, Director General of MI6. She's 26 years experience in the intelligence service, but you know that a man has come up to her and gone, love, Chief of MI6, is it? I've got one for you. See, when you're on your holidays, hide your passport in your dirty washing. You can have that. I don't know.
Stuart, what are your thoughts on this then? It's big news from this week in the intelligence community. Do you think this is a good appointment?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Idris Elba get it, but this is...
Can I also just quickly say, Des, it's a very good appointment because there's a good money saving in the fact that we only need to pay half for the job now. So,
Satirising the gender pay gap there.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Ironically, she could. Ria, here's a question for you. Who would make an excellent spy and why?
Clearly, any woman over 40 would make an excellent spy because she will possess the exact cognitive, emotional, and behavioral capabilities intelligent work demands. Neuroscience shows that women have superior memory for detail, heightened emotional intelligence, and exceptional adaptive problem solving. Years of multitasking under family pressure sharpens executive function, while maternal roles enhance risk assessment, conflict diffusion, and rapid environmental scanning. Social invisibility at their stage in life isn't a weakness, it's an operational advantage. And they regulate stress like seasoned operatives, decode subtext with linguistic precision, and manage digital and real-world systems fluidly. Basically, women's entire lives have been field training. So how the hell has it taken this long to realize it? All right?
OK, Elaine and Stuart, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
For the first time in my career, having to deal with a level of disapproval that I never had to experience. It's brutal.
Will Smith.
Is the right answer. Yes, indeed, it is. Will Smith. 3 years on from the Oscar slap, Will is making a comeback with new music, films, and a tour.
It says that Will Smith's return to music has been one of the most welcome developments of 2025. It's really made me start to reconsider my stance on war crimes, illegal deportations, and the failure of democracy.
Mark, are you pleased to see Will Smith making a comeback?
Oh, yes. Oh, listen, if I ever think about the great wordsmiths of our time, I always think of Shakespeare, Dylan Thomas, and the guy that wrote Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West.
We're talking about Will Smith, of course, because he's making a comeback after what he describes as a big mistake. Let's see how honest our four panellists are this week. Tell us about your biggest mistake, Elaine.
No.
Stuart, could you tell us about your biggest mistake?
For me, it's like not big mistakes. I don't know about you, I just make the same mistakes over and over again. It just does my nut in. I don't know about you, I just go straight to forgot password now. Life's too short. That's where we're going.
Tell us about your biggest mistake, Mark.
Probably my current haircut. Which I know is on the radio, but I have blonde hair. I've dyed my own hair blonde, and I went to B&M to buy the good stuff. I spent $1.99 on hair dye. And it said on the packet that I was to put it in for 45 minutes, right? So I thought I'm going to have a bottle of wine. And I tanned the wine and fell asleep on the couch. Woke up with chemical burns on my head, and I now look like I play bass for Avril Lavigne.
Ria, could you tell us about your biggest mistake?
Yeah, I can. It was listening to that man's album to try and write jokes about it. I cannot get that time back, honestly. And have you seen the video to his single, Pretty Girls? Will, as a dad in his 50s who has been sexually rejected publicly by his own wife, is just leering at a number of young women who are convorting across the screen. And he called it Pretty Girls and not, as it should be called, Midlife Crisis from the album A Cry for Help.
Yes, of course, Will Smith is the correct answer, and 2 points go to Elaine and Stuart. It's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
It's difficult losing to a 5-year-old.
That's not AI. That is Sir Andy Murray there, explaining why he won't be playing at Wimbledon this year. Right, let's do it, teams. Fingers on buzzers, and here we go. What is to be delayed by 2 more years? Ria.
Any decision by Keir Starmer.
Far too true. Let's keep it going. What is to be delayed by 2 more years? Stuart.
Is it the CalMac service from Ardrossan to Brodick?
What is to be delayed by 2 more years? Elaine.
Anything nice.
Too true. Right, let's keep it going. What is to be delayed by 2 more years? Mark.
Ejaculation in older men.
Also the title of the latest Oasis album out now. The answer we were looking for was HS2, delayed yet again by at least a further 2 years. The UK government has announced.
It's difficult losing to a 5-year-old.
Oh, there's a klaxon. Sir Andy has murrayed, meaning it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Elaine Malcolmson and Stuart McPherson. And commiserations to Ria Lina and Mark Nelson. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. Patients who film their own medical treatment for TikTok could be putting themselves and NHS staff at risk. The Society of Radiographers has warned. One patient regretted asking the doctor to film an operation with his iPhone, saying it was the most painful colonoscopy he's ever had. Hollywood star Glenn Powell has been spotted filming a dangerous stunt on a bus in Glasgow. Yes, he tried to get off without thanking the driver. And Sir Lewis Hamilton was devastated after running over a groundhog at the Canadian Grand Prix. He's worried the same thing will happen tomorrow and the day after that. And the news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!